help you record in Zoom and just let me know when you're ready.
Done.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jenkins, and welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be with you all on today. So we have a lot of work to get to. So I want to just share a first little note with us. This live event, it is being recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. So by participating, you agree to authorize recording of the audio and the visual content presented during the live event and the subsequent use of the recording by DeVry University. So if you do not wish to consent to the recording, I ask that you please do not attend the live event, but have no fear. We will, because we are recording, we'll make sure that we get this information to you. But I hope that you trust us and stay along for the ride on today. So again, I do just want to say welcome. I am Beautiful to Ministry. It is truly an honor to be with you. And I trust that you and your families are staying safe and that all of you are following the necessary protocols and precautions to remain healthy during our current public health challenges. So as I mentioned, we do have some work to get done, a lot of information to get done in a small amount of time. So I do want you to get comfortable. I want you to relax and I want you to enjoy yourselves. But I don't want you to get too comfortable because I am going to need you to give me some feedback along the way. So I do want you to be prepared to chat with me out there in Facebook or in Zoom. And so let's move forward and talk about some housekeeping. So I know that some of you might be in here with us in Zoom or in Facebook, but I do ask that you will please keep your lines on mute. Be ready to participate by taking notes or responding to questions in the chat, or even feeling free to post questions in the chat. Be prepared to take action at the conclusion of our webinar, and I want you to stay tuned to additional information following the event. And as I mentioned, today's presentation is being recorded, so I'm going to try to be on my best behavior, and I ask that you will be on yours as well. So let's move forward and go to work. So again, thank you for joining me for our webinar, Activate the Power of Service, Creating Memorable and Positive Interactions. So I'm going to start out with a quote from the late Dr. Maya Angelou. She said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So as we set our minds to our topic, I want us to take a moment and I want you to think about the last time that you experienced stellar service as a customer. I want you to think back for just a moment. Now, as you grab that experience in your mind, I now want you to think about, how did that experience make you feel? How did that experience make you feel? So that's what I want you to hold on to as we move forward in our presentation on today, that feeling. And hopefully the information that we will gain is going to help you take you further. So allow me to officially introduce myself. My name is Teresa Page. I am the Center Dean with DeVry University and Keller Graduate School of Management here in the Greater Atlanta metropolitan area. And together we're going to take part in a customer service workshop. This workshop is designed to provide you several key takeaways that you can implement immediately to help you decode the language of customer service, so you can take an active role in creating positive customer interactions. So for our agenda today, we will cover the basics of creating a message by understanding customer service as a language, so you could be prepared to make a bigger impact. Then we'll explore a process to help us gather important information to determine the most beneficial approach for each customer interaction. We'll dive into the power of words and review some strategies to deliver messages intended to enhance the customer interactions. And because most of you have thought as education as a way to enhance your skill set, and as Dr. Jenkins mentioned, to upskill, then we'll devote some time to discuss some learning path options that you need to take into consideration. So when you leave me here today, you will learn to use communication tools to craft, to frame, and to deliver compelling messages and unlock the key to consistently delivering impactful, positive customer interactions. And I would like to enforce that this workshop really is all about you. So your participation, your insights, your best practices is going to enhance this experience for us all today. So I do ask that you will please share as much as possible. So actually, here's our first opportunity to go ahead and jump in and actually start sharing. So Dr. Jenkins, I don't know how many is with us live, but I want everyone to come over to your keyboard, whether you're at your laptop or whether you're on your mobile device, and come over to the chat. So here's the first question. How do your customers want to be treated? How do your customers want to be treated? And this doesn't matter if you're a business owner or even if you're a colleague or an employee within an organization. You know who your customers are, whether they're internal or external. But how do your customers want to be treated? I want you to come over into the chat and come talk to me. So Dr. Jenkins, if you can help me keep an eye out and see how our guests are responding. How do your customers want to be treated? Are they talking to us, Dr. Jenkins? Let's see, I see a little bit of energy here in the chat with excellent customer service.
Excellent customer service, superb, good, very well. So things like that. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for your responses. Okay, we got an energetic crowd here today. All right. So I'm going to be asking more questions. So stay close to that keyboard because I'm going to need you to respond to me a little later as well. So other things to consider, your customers also might want to feel respected, maybe valued or appreciated, important, heard, as well as understood. So thank you all so much for your feedback. So let's move forward. Now we're going to focus on crafting the fundamentals. So you probably heard that you should treat customers the way that you want to be treated. So this sounds nice, but in reality, effective communication with diverse customers may not be so easy to pin down. So looking at the slide, what takes service from good to great? What takes service from good to great? And how do we know what is good service? And how do we know what is great service? And what is the difference? If you would like to come over into the chat to share with that, what is the difference? I'm starting to see some more energy. Attention to detail. That is the difference. That is one of the differences. Thank you so much. So as we move forward, the difference between good service, customer service, and great customer service may be rather subtle, but the outcomes can be much more apparent. So good service may result a barely satisfied customer, while great service may result in a satisfied customer who leaves feeling impressed and turns into a loyal customer. Now, this is important because impressed customers are not only appreciative, but they tell others about their experience. So let's continue to explore how much control you have over the service interaction. So, who makes service great? The answer is you make service great. Customers don't generally get their make or break impressions of a company primarily from high-minded branding exercises. They get them primarily from day-to-day conversations with you. So for example, let's consider Walt Disney World's Take 5 initiative. So I don't know if you've heard of that before, but every Disney cast member is encouraged to take 5 minutes every day to do something extra special for a guest. Now, the rest of the time, Disney cast members, they're expected to perform at a high level, but at least once a day, they're asked to take it to an even higher level. So can you think how this would relate to your workplace? What would that look like? What would the impact be if we took just 5 extra minutes a day to intentionally create stronger interactions? Now, this could be done by identifying the community you serve, believing that you are that difference, and strive for the maximum positive impact. So let's move on to discuss how breaking down the language fundamentals to achieve this particular outcome. So first, you first want to be able to identify your customer. So everyone, this is another opportunity for us to come on back over into the chat, whether you're with me in Zoom or out there in Facebook land. I want you to tell me, who is your customer? Who is your customer? And while you're telling me who your customer is, I want you to also tell me what service you provide. So come over and talk to me. Who is your customer? Let's move quickly. Who is your customer? And what service do you provide? So Dr. Jenkins, is our audience talking to us? I think you're on mute.
Not yet.
Not yet. No worries. So while you all are thinking about who your customers are, let me tell you a little bit about my customers. So when I think about my internal customers, those are my current students. And what service do I provide to them? I provide to them operations support, student advocacy, so I can ensure their persistence to graduation. Some of my other internal customers are my fellow colleagues that depend upon my level of service or expertise. Now, I also have external customers, such as our alumni, who might be interested in continuing their education or might need post-graduation support. And also our prospective students, like some of you might be, who might be seeking higher education. And another external customer of mine are corporate education partnerships like I Am Beautiful 2 Ministries. And that's where I provide talent development business solutions. And so that's a little bit about my customer base. I think I'm starting to see some energy in the chat. Awesome, awesome. Women are my customers. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins, for sharing. Now, what kind of service do you provide? And it's okay for you to talk to me, Dr. Jenkins, since you're the host.
I was talking in the chat. You know what? Well, my services are professional development to women, offering women's programs such as these, also just enhancement, as well as ministerial opportunities and creating we create platforms for women to share their dreams, visions, ideas, and thoughts. And so here we are, and that includes an array of things, and including conferences for women when we are face-to-face, pretty much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And if we have any of our guests that would like to share on Facebook, we welcome your responses. So as we move forward, recognizing whether your customer is a fan looking for entertainment or if they need that development, as Dr. Jenkins provides to her customer base, or a business in need for IT solutions, or a consumer in search for home goods, it's essential for you to know your customer and understand their specific wants as well as their needs. So in order to be successful with your customer interactions, we must be able to communicate. Therefore, language is fundamental. So we're looking at customer service as a language. So it's important that we understand that language is fundamental. So there are many ways to deliver a message to the customer effectively. So a proper ad in the newspaper or a billboard could raise awareness about your product or your company with the right customer. It could then motivate them to come into your location or even call your service line or visit you on social media. And when they finally get a chance to meet you, you have the opportunity to make an even greater impact or impression. The language we use underlies all components of customer satisfaction. For example, if you have a perfect product, but it can't be experienced as perfect unless you use the right type of language in describing it to your customers. So even the best intentioned, technically flawless employees can alienate customers if they use the wrong language. And when you have a service failure, the right words can be your very best ally. So positive language is a big key to improved customer relations. So do you think it's necessary to change your approach of service based on your customer? The answer is absolutely. You cannot tell everyone the same thing and expect the same positive result. And this is where using a process which helps frame the correct language can lead you to deliver the message your customer needs to hear. So let's look at the first action step. Now, much of our ability to communicate effectively with others stem from our willingness to listen effectively. Now, this is a skill which we are provided very little formal training, to be honest. So the emphasis placed on our ability to generate coherent expressions, that only accounts for a small part of what is required of us to be successful with our customer interactions. We have to genuinely understand those with whom we seek to interact or to serve. Now, Stephen Covey's classic work, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, dealt extensively with the importance of people skills. He recommends that we should first seek to understand and then be understood. Now, understanding how others see things make it easier to communicate with them in ways that they'll relate to. And in doing so, he makes clear that active listening is essential to our ability to communicate effectively. So looking at the slide, we want to address active listening, empathic listening, and asking questions. Now, active listening means to make a conscious effort to understand what people are really saying. Yes. We must consciously use both of our ears. We want to watch and maintain good eye contact, even if we're working together virtually. Looking into that camera to maintain that eye contact, that's very important. Yes. And we want to provide undivided attention and be empathetic. Now, empathic listening. This is really about understanding the person who's talking to you. So paying attention to another person with empathy or that feeling of compassion or insight, that makes us better communicators. And it also motivates those with whom we wish to communicate to be more willing to listen to us as well. So once we have asked the right questions, we understand the customer's wants or needs, we then need to use a filter before we respond. Dr. Jenkins, if you could help me mute, that would be awesome.
Yes. I was trying to give you some comments and hit the wrong button, but I did want to just interject before you go a little bit further from a couple of comments from our audience. And one was that each customer receives it differently in terms of the communication and the messaging, and then deliverance is so important. So I thought you might want to highlight on that. So I was trying to hold us up for a second.
Yes, ma'am. So that is very important because we just mentioned that we can't have the same message for every customer. And the reason why that is because every customer doesn't necessarily hold the same value or see your product or your service with the same level of value. So that's going to be really important. And so we're actually getting ready to move into that framing. How do we frame that conversation to be able to answer that customer's needs and wants? So we're going to talk about a little bit about that framing. How do we filter? We just talked about we have to ask the right kind of questions. We have to have active listening, empathetic listening. We need to ask those questions so we can understand our customers' needs and their wants. So now before we can respond to those needs and wants, we need to run those through a filter. And so in framing our interactions, the filter that we're going to use to be able to respond to our customers' wants and needs is emotional intelligence, or EI. So let's move forward and talk about that a little bit more. So emotional intelligence, we've all heard of that. That's a word that's becoming a little bit more fluent in our society language. So emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, to understand, and influence the emotions of others and the management of our own emotions. So in practical terms, emotional intelligence means being aware that emotions can drive our behavior and it can impact people positively as well as negatively. It also means learning how to manage our own as well as others' emotions, especially when we are all under pressure. And talk about pressure. The entire global community is under significant pressure right now. We have public health challenges, we have social and political unrest, we have economic troubles and food insecurities in some areas. So emotional intelligence awareness, it is in high demand and is needed more than ever. So in fact, internationally known psychologist Daniel Goleman, he details in his book, Emotional Intelligence, that while technical skills and IQ can predict performance to some degree, it is emotional intelligence that's twice as important for success as the other two. So emotional intelligence actually is the front runner ahead of IQ, or the front runner ahead of technical skills. So interesting enough, this is true for jobs at all levels in the organizations that Goleman studied. So the importance of people skills, it cannot be understated. So now let's transition to discussing a few specific techniques for how to effectively respond to customers during your interactions. So we're getting ready to talk a little bit more about deliver with impact. But before I go, I'm gonna do a quick chat check. Dr. Jenkins, do we have any responses or any comments in the chat before I move forward?
We do. Jackie Christmas Bell is blowing it up. She says, learning our own first, and once that is mastered, managing your customers should become much easier.
Absolutely. Managing our own emotions is definitely very important. Thank you so much. Yeah. Wonderful. So let's move forward with delivering, how to deliver our messages with impact. So taking a look at the slide here, we have this cute little robot, but our slide says to respond like a human and not a robot. So there are many instances where we repeat the same words, we repeat the same phrases, but it may be, you have to remember that this might be the first time your customer is hearing this particular message. So we need to be careful about that as we're delivering impactful messages to our customers. So whenever you're communicating with a customer, it's actually a good thing to kind of loosen up a bit and use your natural language. So respond with genuine concern, an intent to solve the issue and to provide the best solution to a customer's need. Now, there are various techniques to effectively communicate with customers. And here are 4 approaches we will review. We'll talk about impact words. So you can impact a customer interaction, both positively and negatively, with your choice of words. We'll talk about tone matching. It's not just what you say, but it's also how you say it. And then we'll talk a little bit about reflective listening. Conversation is a give and take process. And finally, we'll talk about tailor your message, where you understand your customer's point of view because they don't know what you know. So let's move forward. So here's a list of several impact words that you could keep top of mind. So let's take a look at the slide. We have words such as hopefully, definitely, certainly, should, recommend, exactly, or quickly, or unfortunately. So we've discussed the power of positive words to impact the customer service interaction. Now, here are a few examples of how. So you can use phrases such as, I definitely will make sure that it gets sorted, or I can certainly help you, or that is exactly right. Or how about, I completely agree with you, or I can highly recommend. What's important is that you don't have to be afraid to sound too upbeat. So words such as fantastic or great are very positive words and can really interject some energy into any conversation. So powerful words are important to use. So when communicating with our customers, we typically have the best intention in mind, but the way we use words can be detrimental to providing a positive customer interaction. So for example, words such as just, should, actually, hopefully, unfortunately. Now, though a few of these words were just on our positive impact list, their usage, there are exceptions to the uses of these type of words that could negatively impact interactions with your customers. So here are two examples using the word just. So listen to this. I just double checked that setting and all looks well now. Now, in this example, using just in this sentence, it implies immediacy and it sounds less stuffy. Now, here's a second example. Just go to that section over there and you'll see the widget on the middle shelf. Now, in this example, using just in this sentence, it sounds annoyed and it makes the sentence worse. So when in a live customer interaction, it could be difficult to determine how to best use these particular words, which is why it's probably easier just to eliminate them from your customer service vocabulary. So now we're going to look at a few techniques for putting these words into good use. So even when we are prepared to deliver the right words, we must also consider how we say the message and respond to our customers with the appropriate tone. So looking at our slide, it says inflection helps to convey the intent. So for example, a flat, monotone voice could convey to the customer that I'm bored, I have no interest in what you're talking about. So when we tend to repeat the same thing over and over, it is easy to slip into this habit. But again, we must remember that this may be your customer's very first time hearing this message. Now, but we want to be careful. Now, we don't want to do flat and monotone, but we do have to be careful not to use that cheerful tone in an inappropriate manner. Why is that? Because it can completely throw off the course of the conversation. Because if you're using an inappropriate, cheerful tone, your customer might get a little confused. Like, why are you so happy? You must not have listened to me, or you clearly don't understand what my problem is, or either you're not taking it seriously. So we do need to be careful about that inappropriate, cheerful tone. Now, let's also keep in mind that sounding professional, even though it's important, professional isn't necessarily a tone. However, when we strive to use that professional tone, it can make you come across in a number of ways: serious, responsible, intelligent, confident, or acting with urgency. But if done incorrectly, it can also cause you to sound cold, detached, apathetic, and even condescending. So using the right tone can provide intent, emphasis, and emotion so we can convey support and understanding, which is what we're all striving for in our customer interactions. So we noted earlier that understanding language is important, but how you use the language to match what the customer needs is critical. So your ability to deliver a tailor-made message to your customer can pay dividends as you exceed their expectations and you're creating that loyalty. So remember, you cannot tell the same thing to every customer about a product or service and expect the same positive sale, outcome, or a response. This is because every customer places a different value on what they think they need. So we mentioned that a little earlier. So looking at the slide, in an effort to deliver a compelling message, you need to understand a couple of things. First, you need to know who. Who is the individual in need of information? Now, if you don't know who, then you need to do your research and you need to ask questions. The second thing you need to know is what. What is the information they need to know? If you don't know that, then you need to listen and learn the wants and the needs. You also need to know why. Know why the information is important. If you don't know why, then you need to seek understanding of the value and the qualify. And if you don't know your who, your what, and your why, then you will not know how to use their language and deliver a compelling message. So you are sure to achieve more positive outcomes when you have this information. Then you'll know how to best respond and deliver the information in such a way that the customer feels like it was created and that was framed and it was delivered for them personally. So
Teresa,
as we move forward, I'm gonna do a quick chat check. What we got, Dr. Jenkins?
Ms. Glenn says they could get offended depending upon your tone, which is so very important. I've seen that time and time again. And also facial gestures, I just wanted to add to that. And also, Ms. Bell says they want you to hear what they have to say. Then the customer wants you to care about their needs. They are relieved if you try to resolve their issues. Always be positive and pleasant regardless of the situation. I use words as I understand and will do my best to accommodate your needs. So yeah, Ms. Bell sounds like an expert in customer service.
Yes, she does. High five, Miss Bell.
Yeah, I'm like learning at the same time. The other thing I just wanted to interject really quickly is that, you know, as we look at these things, and I type this on Facebook, we're looking and talking in a professional context, but everything that you've shared with us can also be used personally. I would agree.
I would absolutely agree with that idea as well, Dr. Jenkins. Wonderful feedback. See how this makes it a great experience with giving your feedback and your best practices. High five. Kudos, everyone. Thank you so much. All right, so now I want us to focus on some app hacks. And this is for you all. Come back over into the chat. Hang with me. We're almost done. So I have a couple of questions for you. Can anyone share a technology resource that helps you effectively communicate with your customers? Can you share what type of technology resource that helps you to effectively communicate with your customers? So I'm starting to see some energy in the chat here. I see Teams, TAMS. I don't think I've heard about TAMS before. Is that Teams? Okay, good deal, good deal.
You know you can't make any corrections on here, so I had to type it again. Let's see. Ms. Bell said OneNote, which is great. Yeah, I used to use OneNote. What about OneNote, Teresa?
Yes, I don't think I've used that before. I have used it very little, but that's another great way to communicate as well. I think that's like a document sharing type of a platform, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct in that with Ms. Bell?
You can actually type into it and save notes in it and share those notes, share graphics as well in it. So she hasn't typed back yet, but I was going to
Okay,
say.
no worries. Awesome. So we have Teams, we have OneNote. Any other responses? As far as technology resources, especially in today's world right now, we're using technology more than ever.
Yeah, Messenger as well, Teresa. We use that on a regular basis, I think, typing more and more, getting things via Facebook on Messenger, you know, privately, business oriented, if you're ordering things. Ms. Glenn says OneNote is good as you can make different notebooks to share. She also said WebEx. Ms. Bell, yes, we put it in company and business notes. So yeah.
Absolutely. So yes, social media. We're using social media. You know, we're also using this video conferencing. So definitely Zoom, WebEx. WebEx is actually my favorite. We talked about that instant messaging as well as texting. So all of these are great resources. Now, tell me this, everyone, while you're in the chatting mood, what have you found to be your greatest challenge with technology and effectively communicating with your customers? What have been your greatest challenges, especially right now where we're having to use technology to the 10th power, so to speak? What are some of your challenges? Is it too many emails? Is it weird scripts for phone calls? What are some of your challenges? I would love to hear from you. So I see some energy here in the chat. So I see inability to autocorrect. Absolutely. That could definitely change the whole idea of your sentence. Sometimes I don't like autocorrect. Awesome. So what's the audience saying, Dr. Jenkins?
Nothing yet.
Nothing just yet. All right, so we would love to learn some of your other greatest challenges that you've had as far as effectively communicating. So while you're thinking on that, everyone, and I want to say thank you so much for your feedback thus far. Today we use technology to deliver many of our messages, but the downside is the loss of some personalization and that those nonverbal cues that we get to have in these face-to-face interactions that we're used to or that we've been used to. So, however, finding creative technology-based solutions to enhance customer interactions, it provides a higher level of service that your customers value. Now, remember, when using technology and especially written communication with your customers, you want to remember a couple of things. So first and foremost, that autocorrect, Dr. Jenkins.
You got some comments in the chat as you're going through. I want you to be able to address these as well. Ms. Glenn says sometimes the communication is not conveyed correctly. You can type one thing and mean it in a totally different way. And Ms. Bell said, yes, too many emails and customer concerns about their money bills. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So sometimes using technology, it can skew the intent of the message. Yeah. So I'm getting ready to give you a couple of tips that's going to make it a little easier when you're having to communicate in this technology platforms, regardless of the platform that you're using. So number one, you want to provide descriptive language that shows how you really feel while something is important to you, and how sorry or pleased you are to hear about what you've been told by your customer. So that kind of puts a little feeling to our technology communications. Also, make sure to keep your messages clear and concise. So keep it simple. And also avoid using all capital letters. We know that in the text world, that means that you're shouting at someone. So you want to keep that out. Also, minimize the use of exclamation points, as well as emojis and emoji characters. So when you're doing your business communication, you want to avoid these types of things. Also, remember to proofread your message. Spell check cannot catch it all, and that autocorrect is not always a friend either. Wonderful, wonderful. So let's move forward. Thank you all so much for your feedback. So how are we going to take action? So we've started off our session today with the intention to learn how to decode the language of customer service. So the proactive actions you implement can make the difference in creating positive customer interactions. So as you think about how you will take action, let's discuss the keys to unlock the code. So first and foremost, to unlock the code of communication, you need to know your audience. Remember, we need to understand the who. So you want to understand who your customer is. Ask questions as you seek to understand his or her wants or needs. Also, to unlock the code is attentiveness. The ability to really listen to customers is so crucial for providing great service. Be mindful and attentive to the feedback that you receive. Seek to understand what your customers are telling you without them having to say it. Also, persuasion skills. Now, this is not about a sales pitch. It's about not allowing potential customers to slip away because you couldn't create a compelling message that your company's product is worth purchasing or taking advantage of. Also, another tip here is closing. Being able to close with the customer means being able to end the conversation with confirmed satisfaction and with the customer feeling that everything has been or will be taken care of. So be sure to take the time to confirm that all the customer's issues have been addressed or resolved. Doing so shows the customers three very important things. First and foremost, that you care about getting it right, that you're willing to keep going until you get it right, and that the customer is the one who determines what right really is. Also, another thing here is to repeat, resolve, and review. So having listened to the customer, you want to repeat the issue back to the customer for clarity and understanding. This not only ensures that the right resolution is found, but also lets the customer know that you care about helping them also find the solution and to clearly explain exactly what's going on. All right, so everyone, as we take a deep breath, that was a lot of information to kind of bring in. We kind of worked very good together. I like working with you all today. So let's take a deep breath. Let's breathe all of this information in. Let's let it settle. Let's let it marinate. Now let's exhale. And what I want us to do is to go back to that opening quote that I gave us by the late Dr. Maya Angelou, that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So everyone, we covered a lot of ground today. At the beginning of the workshop, we uncovered some of the tools to decode and clarify language to help you activate the power of service. So hopefully by participating in this workshop, you are leaving with a few key takeaways that you can implement immediately to help you move your communications and help you to frame those communications or that right message that you need to have with your customers to improve your customer interactions. So as a recap, we reviewed the importance of identifying your customer so you better understand their values, their needs, and their wants. We introduced emotional intelligence tools to help you filter your words and convey a clear, empathetic message to your customer. And we looked at ways to respond to your customer to deliver impact words in a way that your customer will hopefully respond well to hearing. And thanks to everyone so much for participating in our discussion as well as some of the exercises. So what's next? So you probably heard the old adage, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So I do encourage you to use the tools that we've learned today and put them into practice right away. So this is our last time to actually participate, or maybe one of the last times as we wrap up. So thinking about everything that we learned today, I want to know at least one tip or resource that you found that's going to be useful, that you're going to take back to improve your customer service skills. Just tell me one thing, and this is for everybody, just one thing that you learned, either a tip or a resource. I want to hear from you. Really quickly, one thing that you're going to take back with you to help you improve your customer service skills or experiences. Dr. Jenkins, are they talking to us?
Not just yet. I did type in the chat on Facebook, though. Positive words was one that I was definitely going to continue to use. I think it's just good practice in making sure that, you know, those words that are can be crossover words, to try to stay away from those. Oh,
Okay.
we got something in the chat. Ms. Glenn said emotions.
Emotions, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all so much for your feedback. Now, everyone, as we're moving to wrap up, this is also a great time for you to ask any questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post those in the chat and I'll be sure to address them before we go. So let's move forward as we wrap up. So as I mentioned earlier, that most of you are or currently thinking about education as a way to develop your skill sets or even how to enhance your customer service skills. And that could be through education. And it can also help you to grow your career wherever you are with your organization. So we want to take a look at a couple of things that you need to consider. So first and foremost, if education is what's on your mind to develop, you want to ask yourself when you can attend classes. Is it in the evenings or the weekends or online? At DeVry University, we are adult learner oriented, and so we have those evening, weekends, as well as online classes. So once you have determined your needs, then you want to reach out to colleges and universities to see which one is going to help best match your needs. And then you also want to take into consideration, what will you take? You need to determine what skill set development will match your career goals. The best way to determine this is to discuss your career path, maybe with your manager or your HR team, and let them assist you in determining what skills you will need to move forward in your career. So once you've identified those skills, you need to determine which programs is going to best suit your particular needs. Now, at DeVry University, we've broken down our programs into 6 key areas of accounting, healthcare, liberal arts, technology, media arts, as well as business. And you also need to consider what level of education do I need? Do I need to get that bachelor's degree? Do I need that master's? Or perhaps I just need that certificate that allows me to focus on a particular area of specialization. So we've determined when we're going, we've determined which program is going to best fit our needs. So what else is there to consider? Well, DeVry University has taken a different approach that's geared towards our working adult students. And a few things that's important to our students is having that learning flexibility, being able to take classes, whether online or on site, or even in a hybrid fashion, is very important to them. And the fact that our sessions run every 6 weeks gives them the opportunity to complete 6 sessions over the course of the year. So focusing on 1 or 2 classes and then for 8 weeks and then moving forward to the next courses, that's important to our students. Also, the potential transfer of qualifying course credits. So through an evaluation, you can find out how your qualifying degree or previous college credits, how far that can take you prior to starting. Other things that's important to our students is having that dedicated student support team. Our admissions advisors, student support advisors, our professors, as well as our career services department. We're here to provide the resources that you need to ensure your success. And also, our customizable learning management system. So our campus student portal is intuitive, it's engaging, it's customizable, and it's cloud-based. So right inside, everything you need to stay on track in your courses is right at your fingertips. And finally, another thing that's important to our working adult students is our perks of our corporate education partnerships. So as a member or an employee of a particular organization that has an active education partnership with DeVry University and Keller Graduate School of Management, you are entitled to benefits such as a partner group tuition rate, application fee waiver, as well as deferred billing. So I'm really excited that I Am Beautiful Too is one of our corporate education partners. And so if you're a member of this organization and you're looking forward to move into education that you need to get an additional credential, you actually have access to 25% partner group tuition rate and application fee waiver, as well as deferred billing. Another great benefit with this partnership is being able to take a complimentary course. So we have a Jumpstart Your Education with a complimentary 3-hour credit course that will allow you to get started very easily. And one of my favorite things about this partnership is that it extends to your immediate family as well as dependents for qualified members of this organization. So you can make earning your education a family affair. So for those of you who are interested to move forward, I'm just going to grab some information and post it in the chat. And Dr. Jenkins, if you can also grab it from the chat and get it out to our group in Facebook land. Let me grab it here. Post it. So for those of you who are ready to take that step, and you want to speak to an admissions advisor to learn more about our programs and learn more about the benefits of this partnership, I'm posting some information here in the chat, and you can visit one of the links and complete an online inquiry form, and we'll have one of our admissions advisors to contact you shortly thereafter. So Dr. Jenkins, if you could grab that information and post it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So everyone, so DeVry University, we're currently preparing for our upcoming sessions. So we are preparing for our March session that will convene on Monday, March the 1st of 2021. And we're also preparing for our May session that will convene on May the 3rd of 2021. So if you're ready to take that step, please visit one of the appropriate links that we just posted in the chat, and the admissions advisor will contact you shortly thereafter. Or if you want to contact me directly, please feel free. You can reach me at tpage@devry.edu. So everyone, that's my time. I do want to thank you all so much for your participation today. It was great working with all of you. And for those of you who've made the decision to add education to enhance your skill set and grow your career, I look forward to see you in class. So final steps as I go, when you leave today's meeting, be sure to stay tuned for a follow-up with today's recording, as well as a reference guide that's going to help you on your way. So in the meantime, I want to bid you all great success. I want you to be blessed. Please stay safe, and let's go to work. Back to you, Dr. Jenkins.
All right, great. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks to everyone who's joined on Facebook with us. Recognizing, I just wanted to share a comment from Ms. Bell. She said that she's in class right now in her master's program at another university. So I think that that's awesome to recognize that she's on the move and moving forward, and how relevant the subject matter at hand that we're discussing. Just wanted to highlight also a couple of things about the positive words, the impact of words, and also understanding language. I think that those are just so important to me. Communication is key as I'm learning and growing older in life. And listen, we will be back here again on April 3rd. We will be coming at you with another segment, which is upskilling for your career, bridging knowledge gaps for tomorrow. And come and join us. We've got some great information that we know you can use. So we will see you then. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And listen, this is not a long time. We're honing our time in. So, you know, I know Saturdays are busy and everything, but we want to come at you so we can bring you some information to enhance, to self-enhance. Look at yourself, self-examine, as we learn in our Dream Builders class every morning, to look and do some self-audits within. Look within, see what's going on with you, and audit yourself. I think it's very, very important. So thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Teresa Page, girl, you are phenomenal, awesome. Thank you so much for bringing us such great information. And to everyone out there, stay safe, and we'll see you next month, month after next. Time's going by so fast, April 3rd. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.